that I celebrate is the reverie, the intoxication, the cognitive slip and slide, the disinhibition, the jazz of creative flow.
Yes.
Creative flow is musical. Creative flow is improvisation. Creative flow is the territory beyond the maps. It's, as Bodhi said in Point Break, where you lose yourself and you find yourself. It's the zone. It's the surfer in the pocket. As Timothy Leary said, in these moments your future is right in front of you. Your past is exploding behind you. Your footprints are being washed from the shore. It's a non-depletive, non-extractive act done solely for the pleasure of the act itself, and that is the destiny of man. I mean, it feels almost like creative flow gives us a glimpse of our godlike possibilities. Abraham Maslow, the positive psychology, says we get a thrill from the godlike possibilities we see in ourselves in those moments when it counts on the stage, yet we simultaneously shiver at those very same possibilities. Now, I would argue that one of the things I most enjoy when you and I engage creatively is that you're so free. Now, I don't even think it comes from training. It's just you're born with this capacity, like an actor, to let go, right? To just surrender. But that's not easy for people, right? Most men lead lives of quiet desperation. People are in a state of inhibition and anxiousness. We're clenching all the time. And sometimes it just takes a goddamn onslaught, an initiation, a kind of leap of faith, an ego death, a trust fall. But that kind of surrender is fundamentally absurd. It makes no sense to leap from the abyss in a state of trust and grace. I mean, that's the definition of paradox. It's insane. But in some sense, surrendering our affordances is required for self-transcendence and for actual freedom. The jazz musician in the pocket has to have transcended himself at some point. Like the end of the film Whiplash. There's gotta be a moment, a life and death, psychological, in the bliss fuck crucifixion where you fully transcend yourself. But self-transcendence is also annihilation. Quaking, annihilating glory, but it is annihilation. And as you know, neurotic people like me, we fear death. And so we fumble and stumble trying to transcend ourselves, but mostly bringing ourselves along, kicking and screaming. That ego that just can't unclench, and it can't let go. And perhaps only in psychedelic visionary states can people experience themselves without their own inhibiting ego. But others can find those spaces on stages. The artist in the pocket, the jazz musician in the zone, the surfer catching that wave. My question to you is simply this, my friend. How do you so easily tap into that from a improvisational acting performance standpoint? Because you do it well. Sometimes I get there filming you, I lose myself, I self-transcend when I'm recording something, but when I'm actually on camera, it's a little bit harder. Because the self-consciousness is in some sense imposed. Duality is imposed by the camera. Now I am aware of how I'm being seen. But the real gift is when that jazz musician can transcend himself in spite of being observed. The actor can transcend himself in spite of the camera being there. That he can transport himself so completely that he forgets himself and he forgets the camera. And he believes that he is that character.
Right.
And that kind of exorcism, that self-possession that he's taken over, we call that a kind of madness, but it's also divine. Christian Bale is a great example of an actor that can so self-transcend, that can so lose himself. Method actors are the same. That it is a kind of cultivated steering of a schizoid kind of self-separation. You get past yourself to connect to something deeper in yourself, and watching that is it's wondrous when we see actors do it. It's incredible when we see surfers do it. I think all of them would say, man, I don't remember what I did. I wasn't there, and that's just incredible. So what do you think about that? Because it seems easy for you. I'm struggling. I'm always struggling.